Few spectacles can equal the grandeur and majesty of the Grand Canyon of the Colorado, one of nature's most awe-inspiring sights. Situated in northern Arizona, Grand Canyon National Park is administered by the National Park Service of the United States Department of Interior. Here is a wonderland of eroded cliffs and towering pinnacles of rock. A gigantic chasm 217 miles long, 4 to 18 miles wide, and a mile deep. Since 1901, when Santa Fe first established rail service, thousands of visitors have been attracted to the south rim of the Grand Canyon. Bright Angel Lodge offers the visitor hospitable accommodations. On the veranda overlooking the mighty abyss, one may relax and enjoy what is perhaps the greatest of all of nature's spectacles. Also on the South Rim is one of America's best-known resort hotels, the famous El Tovar. These visitors are boarding the bus that will take them for a tour along the South Rim. Just across from El Tovar, the Hopi House, a reproduction of the terraced dwellings of the Hopi Indians. The Hopis are a peaceful, friendly people, among the most advanced of North American tribes. Here we go on a motor tour along the canyon's south rim to the many observation points maintained by the Park Service. For nearly 70 miles, the motor coach travel well-paved roads through fragrant forests of pine and juniper, pausing at intervals to offer the visitor startling canyon views. Telescopes provide breathtaking close-ups of the inner gorge or the far rim. For the visitor with a camera, well, this is a photographer's paradise. Farthest west of the South Rim's observation points is Hermit's Rest. With its rustic observation porch, Hermit's Rest is an attraction in itself, a vantage point for many superb views of the canyon. The famous Desert View Watchtower at the observation point farthest east on the South Rim, a colorful reproduction of the strange towers erected by inhabitants of the Southwest many centuries ago. Built on a high rocky point, it commands a sweeping panorama of the canyon, the Kaibab National Forest, the Painted Desert, and the Navajo Indian country. Havasupai Point. Here, the National Park Service maintains an observation station with employees of the Park Service always in attendance. They really know this canyon. To them, it's more than just a huge gully. They'll explain all about the rock strata, bottom sediments of oceans and lakes, the Kaibab full of seashells and sponges, the Coconino, wind-blown sands of the desert, and the Kaibab red wall limestone laid down in the sea hundreds of millions of years ago. Here is a 2-billion-year-old record of the world's formation. The layers exposed are like the pages of an open geology textbook, pages illustrated by footprints of animals that walked the earth millions of years ago, by countless fossils of ferns and other marine and terrestrial life. For millions of years, the river has been cutting downward, ceaselessly, relentlessly. Today, this cutting operation is continuing, just a fraction of an inch each year, constantly deepening and widening the vast gorge. Every 24 hours, 1 million tons of sand and silt pass any given point as the river rushes by on its never-ending journey toward the Gulf of California. No wonder old-timers call the Colorado the river that's too thick to drink, but not thick enough to plow. But now for some fun, a trip on muleback down into the canyon. For tenderfoot or cowboy, it's a real thrill. These animals are mules, real canyon camels. Each one has a name, too. Jessie, Joe, Sally, Minnie. This is Flossie. She's no fool. She's resting up for the trip. And no wonder. Life to her is just a series of downs and ups. So hop aboard. We're on our way. Down Bright Angel Trail, riding gentle, sure-footed mules. In charge of experienced guides, these animals hold a record of carrying thousands of sightseers in perfect safety on the daily trips down into the canyon. So down, down, down we go for a truly memorable experience on a trail built and maintained by government engineers. Some parties go only part way down on the one-day trip. Others for an overnight stay at Phantom Ranch. About halfway down, after almost 2 hours on the trail, we arrive at Indian Gardens, an inviting trailside oasis in the valley below El Tovar. Here, we enjoy a pause in our ride and a tasty boxed lunch. The canyon deer are as tame as house pets, but for their own good, we are requested not to feed them. Then, after a brief rest and some water to refuel our mules, we're on our way again, following the trail down into the canyon, eventually to the mighty Colorado itself. A suspension bridge spans the chasm, which is about 400 feet wide at this point, at the foot of the Kaibab Trail. And then, nestling among the towering crags of Bright Angel Canyon, nearly a vertical mile below the rim, Phantom Ranch, a unique overnight resort hotel. It's good to be here, too. That swimming pool alone, fed by the cool, clear waters of Bright Angel Creek, is worth the trip down. Hey, take it easy there, bub. You'll get your face wet. While the gang goes swimming, we're going to show you a place rarely seen by visitors to the Grand Canyon. About 50 miles southwest of Phantom Ranch is Havasu Canyon, land of sky blue water. In this barely accessible, verdant valley, surrounded by towering cliffs, is the Havasupai Indian Reservation, the home of the little-known and seldom visited Havasupai Indians. The Havasupais live in close contact with the earth. Here, for untold centuries, they have tilled their fields, raised their corn and their alfalfa, seemingly content with the bounty that a generous nature has given them. A peaceful agricultural people, numbering about 200, they live today much as their forefathers did, untouched by and unmindful of the pressures and problems of an atomic age. They depend for their sustenance upon the harvest of their fields, for their shelter upon these crude structures raised with their own hands. Life here is easy, a haven of peace in a turbulent world. And yet the isolation of Havasupai land is not quite as complete as it once was, nor the Havasupais quite as confined as they once were. Here's a Havasupai who's certainly been around, as that slip of paper will testify. Yes, sir, United States Navy, Seaman First Class, at Tokyo Bay the day the Japs surrendered. And say, here comes Chief Little Guy. Hi, Supai, what do you say? Havasupai land, a garden paradise, where waters tumble over the red-brown rocks in a series of magnificent falls. This is indeed a land of sky-blue water. Back at Phantom Ranch, after a good night's rest, guides repack our equipment, readying our mules for the return trip. We climb aboard our canyon camels, and we're on our way back. We recross the river over the suspension bridge to make our return trip up to the South Rim along the Kaibab Trail, an even more spectacular route than Bright Angel, by which we descended. Up and up we go, confident astride our sure-footed mules, pausing now and then for an awe-inspiring look at the canyon and the river stretching far below us. Our overnight party rounds the Kaibab's hairpin turns, which means we're almost at the top of the spectacular Kaibab Trail. Meanwhile, at the head of Bright Angel Trail, other trail parties are pulling in. And oh boy, does it feel good to get one's feet back on the ground again. We're back at the El Tovar Hotel just in time for the Hopi Indian dances, performed each afternoon in front of the Hopi house. These are picturesque native dances, a part of the Hopi culture, meant to produce rain, ward off illness, and promote the welfare of the tribe. Each step and body movement is a set part of the dance, measured, orderly, prescribed. Look at that little fellow. How's that for cutting a rug? So there you have the Grand Canyon of the Colorado. Seen from rim or depths, it's a memorable experience. For nowhere in the world is there anything to compare with its immeasurable abyss. No one who has seen it can ever forget its magnificence and its grandeur. The beauty of the Grand Canyon grips and humbles and uplifts the spirit, offering a perspective against which man, with all his works, pales into insignificance. It is the one great sight that every American should see. To those who would thrill to the majesty of nature's handiwork, the Grand Canyon beckons. The Grand Canyon of the Colorado, the greatest of all natural spectacles in this land of ours.